Hey, so tonight I'm going to talk about the number one way to prevent back pain. It is a pretty simple, straightforward answer. It's simply you want to strengthen your back. And why strength is so important is because the stronger something is, the less likely it is to break. A quick and easy example is think about maybe I'm not really an engineering person, but there's different materials, right? And different materials have different breaking points. There's strong materials and weaker materials. And if you take a weaker material, it's more likely to break under load than the stronger materials are. So the number one way to prevent injury, to put it very simply, is simply to get things stronger. But the question I often get is, well, how do I get my back stronger? I know how to strengthen my core and my abs with sit-ups and all sorts of other stuff, but how do I strengthen the back? And the deadlift is a really good way to strengthen the back, and we talked about that last week. But there's a couple other ways that you can do fairly easily at home if you can maneuver some stuff around, or even in the gym with some boxes or crates. So I wanted to show you guys those this week to give you a couple ideas. So the first one is going to be called a posterior plank. So posterior means your backside. Plank, fairly straightforward exercise. So what you're going to do is you're going to take two boxes or crates and you're going to line them up kind of like this. There will be a space in between them. The bigger this space is, the harder it is, the closer together it is, the easier it is. So I'm going to push this one out a little bit, and what you're going to do is you're going to lay down like this, and you're going to hold. And so this is pretty easy right now, but if we moved that box out to where my feet are and this box out to where my shoulders are, it would get a lot harder a lot quicker. So that's one good way to kind of strengthen the back. Another good way is, if I push this one all the way out of the way, something called a reverse hyper. So you're going to take a box, you're going to find your hip bones, kind of the bony parts. Those go right at the crease of the box. You're going to lay over it, and you can do this on your bed at home as well, and you're going to lift your legs up to parallel, like that. So down and up, down and up. And to make that harder, you can add ankle weights onto the back of your legs, or you can tie a band around your ankles and hook the band underneath. So if you have a bed, you can hook it to one of the posts on the bed. Or if you're on a GHD, you can do it backwards, hook the band to your feet and the bottom of the machine. Which brings, for the reverse hypers, a good number to shoot for is to be able to do 30. If you can do 30 of those with ankle weights, you're doing great. But also, that brings me to the last one that I wanted to talk about, and it's the GHD. So it's called the glute ham developer. It's very familiar in CrossFit gyms, but other gyms like your big box gyms usually have them as well. On here, you can do back extensions, you can do hip extensions. So a hip extension is going to be the exact opposite of what I just did on that box. On the box, I'm here raising my legs. On the GHD, your legs are stabilized and your spine is what goes down and comes back up. If you want to get more creative, you can do the back extension, which means starting at your neck, you slowly curl down all the way until you're straight up and down, and then you can let your hips go straight too, and then you slowly, my arm doesn't really bend all that well, but you slowly reverse it all the way back up. That's a back extension. Those you should be able to knock out about 25 a piece if you're doing pretty good, and then from there add a weight plate onto what you're doing. So those are some good ways to strengthen the back. They're good ones to try, especially on the GHD, if you find that your back is your weakest link. So say you deadlift a lot and you're like, my back is always what gives out first, or you're squatting and your back is always what gives out first. Do some specific targeted back strengthening and you'll find that your back doesn't give out as quickly as it used to. Give it some time though. Strength takes about 2 to 4 weeks to get some initial changes and a good 6 to 8 weeks to actually get changes with inside the muscle of the cells actually expanding and growing. So that's your little tidbit tonight on how to get your back stronger and prevent injury, and I hope you enjoyed watching.